Have you ever felt your heart racing out of nowhere? That feeling that something terrible is about to happen, even when you're doing something completely normal? The shortness of breath, the trembling hands, the thought that you might be losing control or even dying? If you've been through this, you know that a panic attack is not just anxiety. It's an experience that makes you afraid of fear itself, that makes you avoid places, situations, even your own feelings. And the worst part? The sense that you're alone in this, that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. Today, I want to share a perspective that might change everything. An approach developed by ROGERS, one of the greatest humanistic psychologists in history, but one that modern therapies often overlook. It's not a breathing technique. It's not about controlling symptoms, and it's not about repeating positive mantras. It's something much deeper. It's about realizing that behind every panic attack is a person who is actually trying to protect themselves. A person who deserves compassion, not a fight. A person who needs understanding, not more control. ROGERS discovered that when we stop fighting panic and begin to see it as the desperate language of our deepest self, something extraordinary begins to happen. It's not magic. It's not an instant cure. It's a different path, one that is softer, more compassionate, and more human. Let's be honest about what really happens when you have a panic attack. The first reaction is always the same. I need to stop this now. You try to control your breathing, force positive thoughts, do everything you can to calm down. And the more you fight it, the worse it gets. Do you know why? Because you're going to war with yourself. And in an inner war, you always lose. ROGERS understood something that most modern approaches overlook. Panic is not your enemy. It's a part of you that's trying to protect you from something it sees as a threat. It could be the fear of rejection, of not being enough, of losing control, of being judged. It could be old memories of pain that your body still carries. But when you treat panic like an intruder that needs to be eliminated, you're rejecting a part of yourself. And ROGERS discovered that this internal rejection is exactly what keeps the panic cycle alive. Imagine a frightened child running to you, crying, trembling. Would you pick that child up, hold them, and say, "Shh, I'm here, you're safe"? Or would you yell, "Stop crying, get it together, this is nonsense"? Panic is that frightened child inside of you. And ROGERS' forgotten technique is simple, yet revolutionary. Instead of fighting, you learn to welcome. Instead of rejecting, you learn to listen. Instead of controlling, you learn to be present, with compassion. Here's what modern therapies often miss. True healing from panic doesn't come from techniques to control symptoms. It comes from learning how to be a loving presence for yourself, especially in your most difficult moments. ROGERS called this unconditional acceptance. But let's put it in the language of the heart. It's you looking at your panic and saying, with full sincerity, "I see you. I feel that you're afraid. You can stay here with me. We're going to get through this together." It's not about liking the panic. It's about stopping the exhausting battle against it and starting to use that energy to genuinely care for yourself. When the next attack comes, and it might, because healing isn't linear, instead of panicking about the panic, you can try something different. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, "I'm here. I won't abandon you. Let's feel this together." Place your hand over your heart. Feel your presence. Remember, you are not the panic. You are the one experiencing the panic. And the one who is experiencing it has the power to offer love and understanding to themselves. ROGERS discovered that when we stop fighting and start welcoming, the nervous system naturally begins to calm down. Not because you forced it, but because you created inner safety. You became a refuge for yourself. But let's go deeper. Because ROGERS didn't stop at the surface. He understood that panic almost always carries a deeper message. And that message has to do with who you truly are versus who you feel you need to be in order to be loved and accepted. Often, panic arises when there's too much distance between your true self and the mask you feel you have to wear in the world. When you're constantly trying to be perfect, always trying to please, always hiding your vulnerabilities, a part of you goes into a constant state of alert. It's like there's a voice inside saying, if they find out who you really are, if they see your fears, your insecurities, your imperfections, they'll reject you. And that voice creates such intense tension that it sometimes bursts out as panic. Rogers understood that true freedom from panic begins when you stop hiding from yourself. When you stop trying to be who you think you should be and start embracing who you really are. That doesn't mean you have to expose all your vulnerabilities to everyone. It means that, internally, you stop rejecting parts of yourself. You stop being afraid of your own fear. When you accept that you're human, that you have fears, that you're not perfect, that you sometimes feel insecure or lost, something almost magical happens. You stop wasting energy trying to hide, and you start using that energy to truly know and care for yourself. Now let's get practical. How do you apply Rogers' wisdom when panic hits? How do you turn theory into real experience? First, understand that this is a practice, not a magic technique. It's like learning a new language. At first, you'll stumble, but with time and patience, it becomes natural. When you feel the first signs of panic coming, instead of spiraling into fear, try this. Pause. Take a deep breath, not to control the panic, but to reconnect with your presence. Say to yourself, something is scaring me. I can stay here with myself. Second, name what's happening, without judgment. My heart is racing. My hands are sweating. I'm feeling a lot of fear. You're not trying to stop the symptoms. You're acknowledging that they exist. Third, offer yourself what you would offer someone you love going through the same thing. You wouldn't say, stop being weak. Get it together. You'd say, I'm here with you. You're not alone. This will pass. Fourth, remember, you've been through this before, and you made it. Your body knows how to self-regulate when you stop fighting it. Trust your own process. Rogers discovered that when you stop seeing panic as proof that you're broken and start seeing it as proof that you're sensitive, everything begins to change. You're not defective for feeling panic. You are deeply human. What Rogers was really saying is that panic is often the price we pay for not being authentic, for trying to be who we think others want us to be, for hiding who we truly are, for not honoring our own needs and boundaries. Think about it. How many times have you felt panic when you were about to do something you didn't want to do but felt you should? How many times has panic shown up when you were trying to be perfect instead of being real? Authenticity, in Rogers' view, isn't about being impulsive or doing whatever comes to mind. It's about stopping the lies we tell ourselves about what we feel, what we need, what we want. It's about honoring your inner experience instead of rejecting it. When you begin to live more authentically, saying no when you need to say no, asking for help when you need it, admitting you're afraid instead of pretending everything is fine, you stop creating the inner tension that feeds panic. That doesn't mean the panic will disappear overnight, but it does mean you'll have a different relationship with it. Instead of being something that controls you, it becomes something that informs you. Instead of being your enemy, it becomes your ally, warning you when you're drifting away from who you really are. Rogers deeply believed that every person has within them a natural tendency to grow, to heal, to become more authentic. But that tendency can only blossom when we stop fighting ourselves and start welcoming ourselves with love. So here's the choice you have every time panic shows up. Will you go to war, or will you choose to embrace? Struggle is familiar. It's what you've always done. It's trying to control, to force, to fight, to resist. It's pouring all your energy into trying to make the panic go away, and you already know where that leads. Embrace is new. It's different. It's scary at first. It's saying, okay, panic, I see you. I don't like you, but I'm not going to fight you anymore. Let's stay here together until you calm down. Rogers discovered that this shift from fighting to embracing is what allows your inner wisdom, your natural capacity to heal, to start working. It's like the difference between trying to force a flower to bloom and simply creating the right conditions for it to open naturally. When you stop forcing and start nurturing, healing happens from the inside out. And do you know what's most beautiful? When you learn to embrace yourself during panic, you're not just healing the panic. You're learning to relate to yourself in a completely new way. You're becoming your own refuge, your own source of safety. That's real freedom, not the freedom from ever feeling fear or panic again. That's impossible for any human being. But the freedom from fearing your own fear. The freedom of knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be there for yourself. Now, I want to invite you to try something simple, yet powerful. Tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to do a small exercise inspired by Roger's wisdom. Place your hand over your heart and think about the last time you felt panic. Instead of trying to forget or minimize that experience, I want you to offer compassion to the version of you who was struggling in that moment. Say to yourself, I was really scared. I did the best I could at that time. I deserve love and understanding, especially when I'm suffering. You don't need to fully believe these words yet. Just let them exist within you. Let them plant a seed of self-compassion where before there may have only been self-criticism. Rogers knew that healing doesn't come through dramatic breakthroughs. It comes through small moments of acceptance, small acts of self-love, small steps toward authenticity. Panic is not your enemy. It's part of your human experience. And you, with all your sensitivity, all your fears, all your imperfect humanity, you deserve love, especially your own. If this video touched your heart, if you saw your own journey reflected in these words, leave a like so more people can discover this path to healing. Share it with someone you know who might be going through this silent struggle. And subscribe to the channel to keep exploring how Carl Rogers' wisdom can transform your relationship with yourself. In the comments, tell me, what part of this message resonated with you the most? Your courage to share may be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone. Remember, you are not broken. You are growing. And growth sometimes hurts. But you don't have to go through that pain alone. I'll be here, creating content that honors your healing journey. Until the next video, be gentle with yourself. You deserve it.